नीत या रुद्रा उसका ग्रुप है, ऐसा सीक्वेंस में ग्रुप है, वो ग्रुप का भी प्रेजेंटेशन हम लोग शुरू करें। स्टार्टिंग से शुरू करो
सर, ग्रुप 1 भी पेंडिंग है।
फर्स्ट स्लाइड से चालू करो, जो भी है तेजल से व्हाट्सएप पे कम्युनिकेट करो। फर्स्ट स्लाइड से चालू करो वापस। प्रेजेंटेशन अच्छा होना चाहिए। कीप योर कैमरा ऑन। गो अहेड।
Good afternoon, sir. We will study about the construction and working principle of PMMC, MI, and dynamometer type instruments. So, in this, first of all, we will study about the PMMC. The PMMC stands for Permanent Magnet Moving Coil, and it is also called as D'Arsonval instruments. The PMMC works on the electromagnetic effect. A permanent magnet is used to produce magnetic flux, and a coil that carries the current to be measured moves in this field. As the pointer is connected to the coil, it gets deflected in proportion with the current. So now it's the construction of PMMC. The basic construction of PMMC is shown in figure. A light rectangular coil wound on an aluminum frame is pivoted within the air gaps between the two poles of a permanent magnet and a cylindrical soft iron core. This rectangular coil carries the current to be measured. Soft iron core provides formation of uniform magnetic field. The aluminum frame supports the coil as well as provides eddy current damping. Two phosphor bronze springs coiled in opposite direction serve as lead for a current in the coil. The springs also provide controlling torque. Now there is a working principle of PMMC. Whenever a current carrying a conductor is located within a magnetic field, then it experiences a force that is perpendicular to a current and field based on rule of Fleming's left hand. If the thumbnail of a left hand, middle and forefinger are at 90 degrees with each other, after the magnetic field will be in a forefinger, flow of a current will be across the middle finger, and finally the force will be through the thumb finger. Once the current flow within the coil on the aluminum former, the magnetic field can be generated in a coil in proportion to the current flow. The electromagnetic force throughout the fixed magnetic field, the magnet generates the deflection force within the coil. After that, the spring generates the force to resist additional deflection. Therefore, it helps to balance the pointer. So, damping force can be generated within the system through the aluminum core movement of a magnetic field. It maintains the pointer stable to the point. Once it attains equilibrium by controlling and deflection torque to provide accuracy in measurement. Application of PMMC ammeter. When PMMC is used an ammeter, expect for a minimum current range. The moving coil is connected across a suitable low resistance shunt so that only a small part of main current flows through the coil. Next, voltmeter. When PMMC used as a voltmeter, the coil is connected in series with high resistance. Next, galvanometer. The galvanometer is used to measure a small value of current along with its direction and strength. Next, ohm meter. The ohm meter is used to measure the resistance of an electric circuit by applying a voltage to resistance with the help of battery. So the next will explain by Devendra Baswan. Devendra will explain next.
Hello.
कंटिन्यू चालू रखो आपका एक्सप्लेनेशन। क्या हुआ है देवेंद्र को? देवेंद्र नहीं है तो दूसरा बोलो।
Now there is a MI. This instrument is one of the most primitive forms of measuring and relay instrument. Moving iron type instrument are mainly of two types: attraction type and repulsion type instrument. It is a construction of MI. The basic construction of attraction type moving iron instrument is illustrated below. A thin disc of soft iron is eccentrically pivoted in front of a coil. This iron tends to move inward, that is from weaker magnetic field to stronger magnetic field. When current flowing through the coil in attraction moving instrument, gravity control was used previously, but now gravity control method is replaced by spring control in relatively modern instrument. By adjusting balance weight, null deflection of the pointer is achieved. The required damping force is provided in these instruments by air friction. The figure shows a typical type of damping system provided in the instrument. The damping is achieved by a moving position in an air ring. Working principle of MI. Whenever a piece of iron is placed nearer to a magnet, it will be attracted by a magnet. The force of this attraction depends upon the strength, said magnetic field. If the magnet is electromagnet, then the magnetic field strength can easily be increased or decreased by increasing or decreasing current through its coil. Accordingly, the attraction force acting on the piece of iron would also be increased and decreased. Depending upon this simple phenomenon, attraction type moving iron instrument was developed. Whenever two pieces of iron are kept side by side and a magnet is brought nearer to them, the iron pieces will repulse each other. The repulsion force is due to same magnetic poles induced in same sides the iron pieces due to external magnetic field. This repulsion force increase if field strength of the magnet is increased. Like case, if the magnet is electromagnet, then magnetic field strength can easily be controlled by controlling input current to the magnet. Hence, if the current increases, the repulsion force between the pieces of iron is increased, and if the current decreases, the repulsion force between them is decreased. Depending upon this phenomenon, repulsion type moving iron instrument was constructed. Pins application of MI. Applications of moving iron instrument. Due to the following advantages and uses of moving iron instruments, these are applicable for both AC and DC circuit. These instruments are robust due to simple construction of moving parts and fact that there is no current lead to these parts. The stationary parts of these instruments are also simple. Due to simple construction, these instruments are of low cost. Following are the application of moving iron instrument. First, heavy current moving iron ammeters. Second, moving iron voltmeters. Third, moving iron power factor meters. Fourth, moving iron synchroscopes. The next will be explained by Abhijit Bhalera.
Dynamo, dynamo type, dynamometer type instrument. These instruments are the modified form of permanent magnet moving coil type. Here, operating field is produced by permanent but another fixed coil. The moving system and the control system are similar to those of permanent magnet type. Such instruments can be used for both AC and DC circuit. They can be used as ammeter and voltmeter but are generally used as wattmeter. These instruments are based on that principle that mechanical force exists between the current carrying conductors. Construction of dynamo type instrument. It essentially consists of a fixed coil and a moving coil. The fixed coil is split into two equal parts, F1, which are placed close together and parallel to each other. The moving coil M is provided in between the two fixed coils and carrying a pointer shown as in figure A. The current is led out of the moving coil by means of two spiral hair springs, which also provide the controlling torque. Air friction damping is provided by means of the aluminum vanes that moves in the sector-shaped chamber at the bottom of the instrument. Working of dynamo type instrument. For use as an ammeter or wattmeter, the fixed coil FF and the moving coil M are so connected that the same current flows through the two coils. Due to this current, mechanical force exists between the coils. The result is that moving coil M moves the pointer over the scale. The pointer comes to rest at a position where deflecting torque is equal to the controlling torque. Since the polarity of the field produced by both fixed and moving coils is reversed by the reversal of current, the deflection of the moving system is always in the same direction regardless of the direction of current through the coil. For this reason, dynamometer instrument can be used for both DC and AC measurements. Application of dynamo type instrument. Dynamo type wattmeter. We mostly use the dynamo type instrument as wattmeter. In dynamo type wattmeter, we use the field coil as the current coil and the moving coil as the voltage coil. The angle of deflection of the pointer is directly proportional to the product of the current and voltage. The product of current and voltage is nothing but the power and wattage. A dynamo type instrument can be used in AC and DC both because the angle of deflection is proportional to the square of either current or voltage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now group number 2 will give the presentation.
ओके नेक्स्ट ग्रुप रेडी हो जाओ स्टार्ट करो
Sir, screen is visible.
यस गो एड
Good afternoon, sir. My topic is quality of measurement. Measuring instrument. Measuring instrument used for measuring various electrical quantity is numeric from like power, voltage, current, etc. Measurement of defined as the process of numerical evolution of a diminished the process. There are two characteristics of electrical instrument: static characteristic, dynamic characteristic. Static characteristic is its measure quantity which does not fluctuate with time. Dynamic characteristic it measures quantity which fluctuate with time. These characteristics are also subdivided such as accuracy, stability, etc. Accuracy, the reading we get by use electrical instrument we come near true value. For example, true value is 2 and reading we get 1.8. That is called accuracy. Sensitivity is smallest amount of change that can be dedicated by a measurement. Sensitivity of any instrument must be high. Precision when we measure same unit for many times and reading comes close to the true value every time that's called precision. Stability when tool testing and retesting done and result come consistent is called stability. Reliability when we measure one unit using one tool many times result come same is called reliability. Speed of response, the rapidity with which a measurement system responds to change in the measured quantity. Measuring lag, delay in the response of measurement system to change in the measured quantity. Dynamic error, difference between the true value of the quantity changing with time and the value in decided by the measurement system. It is also called as measurement error. Thank you, sir.
Group number 8 topic principle of operation and construction of single phase and three phase power factor meter. First point definition: the power factor meter measures the power factor of a transmission
अरे
system. The
ते
power factor
तू हे कर ना काय म्हणतात त्याला ऑटो रोटेट कर ऑटो रोटेट
auto rotate.
ओके मुझे एक बात बताओ अभी साइश गावड़े है वो आया है क्या इधर साइश गावड़े है क्या जैद अंसारी है नहीं है साहिल बागुल मार्गेश भाटकर आदित्य भिडे
आहे सर.
कुठे आहे हा कॅमेरा ऑन
आदित्य
कर
भिडे.
आदित्य भिडे तुझाच कॅमेरा ऑन कर केला का काय करते गेम खेळतोय मोबाईल मध्ये नाही ना
नाही सर.
मग कॅमेरा कर की चालू व्हॉट्सअप बघतोय हा बाहेर फिरतोय आदित्य भिडे बाहेर फिरतो मग कोण आहे मृणाल शिंदे कोण आहे
सर
मृणाल शिंदे
हा मी
हा कुठे होती एवढा वेळ
सर इथेच आहे.
हा कॅमेरा ऑन कर
बोला.
हा आणि आता करुणा शिंदे करुणा शिंदे अब्सेंट आहे
हो सर.
विवेक वारागडे
येस सर.
हा कॅमेरा ऑन कर हिरो सुजीत यादव,
यस सर।
सुजीत यादव, सुजीत यादव था ना, अभी आया था ना।
हाँ सर।
यस सर, यस सर।
तेरा कैमरा नहीं चालू हो रहा था क्या?
हाँ
ठीक
सर,
है,
कैमरा नहीं ऑन हो रहा है।
ठीक है। इसके अलावा किसी का नाम बचा है क्या? मैंने लिया नहीं या फिर वेदांशी। हाँ, तुम्हारा कैमरा ऑन करो वेदांशी। किया क्या? हाँ, ओके। वेदांशी यादव 60 नंबर है ना? हाँ, ठीक है। अभी कोई बचा है और इसके अलावा सबका हो गया ना? हाँ, ठीक है। आगे बढ़ो, नेक्स्ट ग्रुप या जो ग्रुप कंटिन्यू कर रहा था, प्रेजेंटेशन कंटिन्यू करो। स्क्रीन ऑटो रोटेट रखो, स्क्रीन ऑटो रोटेट रखो। हाँ,
Group number 8 topic principle of operation and construction of single phase and three phase power factor meter. First one definition. The power factor meter measures the power of a transmission system. The power factor meter is the cosine of the angle between the voltage and current. The power factor meter determines the type of load using on the line at it, and it also calculates the losses occur on it. Second point, power factor meter working principle. The basic working principle of power factor meter is similar to that of dynamo type wattmeter. When the field produced by moving system tries to come in the line with the field produced by the fixed coil, deflecting torque is exerted on the moving system, which deflects the pointer attached to it. The phasor diagram of the power factor meter is shown in the figure. Third point, types of power factor meters. First type of power factor meter is single phase electrodynamometer, and second is three phase electrodynamometer. Over to you, Aditya Kumar.
The construction of a single phase electrodynamometer is shown in the figure below. The meter has a fixed coil which acts as a current coil. The coil is split into two parts and carry the current under test. The magnetic field of the coil is directly proportional to the current flow through the coil. The meter has two identical pressure coils A and B. Both the coils are pivoted on the spindle. The pressure of coil A has no inductive resistance connected in series with the circuit, and the coil B has high inductive coil connected in series with the circuit. Next slide. The current in the coil A is the phase while the current in the coil B lag by the voltage near equal to 90 degree. The connection of the moving coil is made through silver or gold ligaments which minimize the controlling torque of the moving system. The meter has two deflecting torque, one acting on coil A and the other it on coil B. The windings are so arranged that they are opposite in direction. The pointer in equilibrium when the torques are equal. Over to Rohan Jadhav.
Now we are going to study the construction of three-phase electrodynamometer power factor meter. This power factor meter have the same construction as the single-phase power factor meter. This instrument is not affected by the variation in frequency. The main difference of construction between the single-phase and three-phase power factor meter is that the moving coil is placed at an angle of 120 degree. They are connected across different phases of the supply circuit. Both the coil has a series resistance. The voltage across coil A is V12 and the current across it is IA1. The circuit of the coil is resistive and hence the circuit and voltage are in phase with each other. Similarly, the voltage V13 and current IB1 is phase with each other. Thank you.
Sir, now group number one will keep the presentation.
Hello everyone. Today we will discuss the topic of need and significance of measurements and instruments. Let me introduce myself. I'm Samad Shezare. Let's start with the introduction. What
स्क्रीन
is a
शेयर चालू करो,
measurement?
स्क्रीन शेयर।
Hello everyone. Today we will start with the topic of need and measurement of significance. Significance of measurement and instruments. What is a measurement? Measurement involves the use of instruments as a physical means of determining quantities and instruments. And also because of modular nature of the element within it, it is common to refer the measuring instrument as a measurement. Okay, so now we will discuss about the needs of instrument. By this, we can establish standard interchangeability. In a sense, we can interchange any instrument measurements like meter into kilometer, grams into kilograms, and so on. Also, the most important need is customer satisfaction. We can validate the designs by means of different measurements. Physical parameters can be converted into meaningful number with the help of measurement. And measurement gives you two dimension, and also finally it evaluates your performance. So the next slide will be discussed by Rajan Dhage. Over to you. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon, sir. Today's topic will be measuring the instrument. So these are the significance of measuring instruments. Electronic measuring instruments are widely used for the measuring the electric charge quantity and amount of flow of electricity through different electronic lines. As different appliances comprise different kinds of the flow of electricity, different electrical quantity need electronic measuring instruments to conduct the test that verifies electrical measurement with prism, measure, and test equipment. Types of instruments: absolute instruments, secondary instruments. What are absolute instruments? An absolute instrument determines the magnitude of the quantity to be measured in terms of the instrument parameters. Secondary instruments means these instruments determine the value of quantity to measure directly. Generally, these instruments are calibrated by comparing with another standard secondary instrument. Advantages of measuring: the qualitative aspect, which allows us to know what is happening, but can also be quantitative, providing a precise. Considered the gold standard, highly precise and accurate, potential to measure a large variety of outcomes, non-invasive high resolution data, minimal space required, minimal participant preparation time, high resolution data, minimal processing time, non-invasive. These are the disadvantages of measuring instruments. These are different ways in which making or having a measurement can be inconvenience, cost, error, modification of a measured object, and even of the measure itself, unwanted side effects, misinterpretation, invisibilization. Thank you.
So now group number 10 will give the presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Abid Kanayat and I will be explaining you about what is thermistor. A thermistor is a type of resistor which is strongly depend on temperature. A temperature a thermistor is defined as a type of resistor whose electrical resistor varies with changes in temperature. The working of thermistor: the principle obeyed by the thermistor is its dependency on resistant values on the change in temperature. The value of resistance can be measured by using an ohmmeter. These these are connected in series with the battery and the meter. The change in the resistance is depending upon the material chosen in the construction of the thermistor. Thermistors are considered to be the special variety of resistor. Generally, the resistor is known for limiting the amount of current in the circuit. But in the thermal resistor, the change in the resistance is dependent upon the change in temperature. And what is the types of thermistor? The main two types of thermistors are NTC, negative temperature coefficient, and second is PTC, positive temperature coefficient. Next part will be explained by Rudra Karelia. Thank you.
NTC, negative temperature coefficient. Its resistance decrease with increasing temperature. They are primarily used as a resistive temperature sensor and current limiting devices. NTC thermistors are generally made of ceramic or polymers. NTC sensors are typically used in a range from minus 55 degree to plus 200 degrees Celsius. This is the symbol of NTC type thermistor. Its PTC, positive temperature coefficient. Its resistance increase with the increasing temperature. A PTC thermistor is thermally sensitive resistor for which the resistance increase significantly with increasing temperature. They have linear resistance temperature characteristic. PTC thermistor is between 60 and 120 degrees Celsius. This is PTC type thermistor symbol. Thermistor application: domestic, microwave, boilers. Thermistor monitor the internal temperature and ensure it doesn't become too hot. Circuit protector. thermistor controls surges of power and ensure the correct amount is being pushed through devices which are plugged in. Digital thermistor. The thermometers often use the thermistor as the temperature sensing element as they have fast response are accurate. Next, Hitesh Kenny.
Thermistor application commercial. Thermistor is a temperature sensing element, hence most of the applications are based on it. Manufacturing. Thermistor are used as a circuit breaker in manufacturing facilities. If the temperature becomes diagnostics high, the temperature will cause the circuit to break. There are HVAC refrigeration application. Thermistor are used to measuring building and control process. This increases control and efficiency. 3D printers. Thermistors are used to regulate temperature as they must be controlled precisely. Medical applications. When precise temperature monitoring is essential, a thermistor is used as it is essentially sensitive and will detect if the temperature changes just a tiny amount. Food beverage industry. Thermistors can be used to monitor the temperature within the environments of the handling and the processing of food beverage to ensure it is kept at the correct temperature. There are different types of use in the industry for sensing, for safety, for limiting. Advantages of thermistor. When compared to thermocouple, thermistor have a few advantages. They are more sensitive than other temperature sensors. Highly sensitive allows them to work well over a small temperature range. They are low cost and therefore cheap to replace. They provide a fast response, easy to use. Disadvantage of thermistors: extremely nonlinear, passive. The thermistor is not suitable for large temperature range. The resistance temperature characteristics are nonlinear, narrow working temperature range compared to other sensors such as RTD and thermocouple. Thank you.
So now group number 11 will give the presentation.
So our topic is thermocouple, and I, Ashish Maharana, Akash Mane, and Yash Kokate will present this PPT. In this PPT, we are going to cover some points on thermocouples like principle of operation, Seebeck effect, material used, application, comparison with RTD, advantages and limitation. The first of the question is what is thermocouple and how do they work? The thermocouple is a device measuring temperature. It compresses with the two dislinear metallic wires joined together to form a junction. When a junction is heated or colded, a small voltage is generated in the electric circuit of the thermocouple, which can be measured, and this correspondence of the temperature. We can see this rod-like substance. In this rod-like substance, there are two dislinear metals which are connected at the tip. When this rod is heated or colded, we can see the measurement in a multimeter which are connected in this wire. A principle of operation. Thermocouple working principle is based on the Seebeck effect. The Seebeck effect states that when the closed circuit is formed by joining the two dislinear metal at the two junction and the junction are maintained at the different temperature, then the electromotive force EMF is induced in this closed circuit. We can see there is a two junction. This is measuring junction and this is reference junction. In the measuring junction, these are the two dislinear metals joined at the end, and when this measuring junction is heated or colded, we can see the temperature in this reference junction, and we have to connect an instrument like multimeter in it. Then the multimeter shows the temperature. Now my friend Yash Kokate will present the further slides.
So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Today I am going to explain Seebeck effect of thermocouple. The Seebeck effect is a phenomenon in which a temperature difference between two dissimilar electrical conductor or semiconductor produce a voltage difference between the two substances. If the pair is connected through an electrical circuit, direct current flow through that circuit. So there are two Seebeck devices connected to the circuit. One Seebeck device consists of N-type semiconductor pellet and second Seebeck device consists of P-type semiconductor pellet, which are connected to load. Heat is produced in the hot side. Because of that, electron and proton started to flow. Next slide. Chart of thermocouple types. Type B platinum 30% rhodium, platinum 6% rhodium, 2500 to 3100 Fahrenheit, and 1370 to 1700 degrees Celsius. Type E, nickel chromium constant 10, 32 to 1600 Fahrenheit, 0 to 870 degrees Celsius. Type J, iron constant 10, 32 to 1400 Fahrenheit, 0 to 760 degrees Celsius. Type K, nickel chromium, nickel aluminium, 32 to 2300 Fahrenheit and 0 to 1260 degrees Celsius. Type N, nigrosyl, NiSyl, 32 to 2300 Fahrenheit, 0 to 1260 degrees Celsius. Type R, platinum 13% rhodium and platinum 1600 to 2654 Fahrenheit and 870 to 1450 degrees Celsius. Type S, platinum 10% rhodium platinum 1800 to 2640 Fahrenheit and 980 to 1450 degrees Celsius. Type T, copper constant 10, minus 75 to 700 Fahrenheit, minus 59 to 370 degrees Celsius. Next slide. Application of thermocouple. Thermocouple are used in application that range from home appliances to industrial process, to electric power generation, to furnace monitoring and control, to food and beverage processing, to automotive sensor, to aircraft engine, to rocket, satellites and spacecraft. So remaining PPT will be present by my friend Akash.
Okay, now we will see comparison with RTD from comparison of RTD and thermocouple based on some point. Typical measurement range: thermocouple is minus 267 degrees Celsius to 2316 degrees Celsius, and RTD is minus 240 degrees Celsius to 649 degrees Celsius. Characteristic of thermocouple is linear and characteristic of RTD is non-linear. Sensitivity of thermocouple is medium and same as thermocouple RTD sensitivity is medium. Speed of response is thermocouple is high and same as thermocouple RTD is high. The type of transducer is active of thermocouple and passive of RTD. Accuracy of thermocouple is moderate and accuracy of RTD is high. The size of thermocouple is small. Size of thermocouple is size of RTD is large. By cost, thermocouple is low cost and RTD is high cost. Material used for thermocouple is copper constituent, iron constituent, etc. And for RTD, nickel, copper, platinum, etc. Compensation of thermocouple is cold junction compensation required, and for RTD, not compensation required. Application of thermocouple is suitable for application which required wide temperature range, and for RTD suitable where speed of response and accuracy are more important. Next slide. Now we will see some advantages of thermocouple. Thermocouple is less expensive than RTD. It has wide temperature range. It has good reproducibility. The temperature range is 270 to 2700 degrees Celsius. It has rough construction. It does not require bridge circuit. It has good accuracy. Next slide. Now we will see some limitations. Thermocouple are not accurate as RTD in a certain set temperature range. Thermocouple are susceptible to drift over time. Thermocouple, when badly insulated, are vulnerable to corrosion. Thermocouple signals are not perfectly linear. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So now group number 2 will give the presentation.
So good afternoon to one and all. First of all, I would like to welcome my fellow students who have attended this meeting, and especially I would like to thank Homkar sir for taking the pain and effort that he took to teach us. So without any delay, let's start the presentation. My name is Anirudh Marar, and me and my group mates, Boya Narendra and Suvarna Marathi, have together prepared this presentation for you. We have made this presentation as simple as possible so that you can understand what we have made, and I hope so. Just like we enjoyed making this presentation, you may also enjoy listening to this presentation. So without further delay, let's start. So what is thermometer? A thermometer is a device used for measuring temperature. It can measure temperatures of solids such as water or a gas such as air. The three most common units of measurement for temperature are Celsius, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin. Working principle of a thermometer. The volume of alcohol in a thermometer contains huge number of alcohol molecules. As temperature increases, the alcohol molecules move faster and bounce off each other. The liquid alcohol expands and takes up more space in the thermometer. As you can see, you can understand this process in the diagram. The principles of thermometer. A thermometer is an instrument which is used to measure temperature. The thermometer needs a scale to be used effectively. There are several types of thermometer. The choice of which to use depends on the range of temperature to be measured, the accuracy required, and the physical condition in which the thermometer will be used. So I would like to pass on the mic to Boya Narendra. Sorry, to my teammate Suvarna Marathi.
So next is the principle of a thermometer. A thermometer to be an instrument which is used to measure a temperature. The thermometer needs a scale to be used effectively. There are several types of thermometer. The choice of which to use depend on the range of thermometer to be measured, the accuracy required, the physical condition in which the thermometer will be used. So type of thermometer. There are more types of thermometer, but we will focus on this. First is a liquid in a glass thermometer. A thermometer in a which thermally sensitive content in a gravity envelope. The indication thermometer depends upon the difference between the coefficient of thermal expansion. Second, infrared thermometer. Infrared thermometer are temperature sensing devices that use electromagnetic contact surface temperature readings. This allows for fast, touchless measurement from a safe distance. So third is a bimetallic thermometer. This is a mechanic thermometer that works with a bimetal strip. Bimetal means that is made of two metals. This strip is sensitive to change in a temperature, and it causes mechanical displacement, which is used to determine the temperature. These thermometers are perfect for higher temperatures as they become less sensitive and accurate at a lower temperature. They can be found in many household appliances like stoves. So last is a manometric thermometer. This type is also known as a pressure field or vapor pressure thermometer. It determines the temperature based on a changes of pressure in a gas or a liquid. Manometric thermometer can be filled with a gas as a nitrogen conduction such as alcohol, chloromethane or mercury. Next will be explained Narendra.
Merit and demerits of a thermometer. Merit. Simplicity in use and low cost. Portable device. Checking physical damage is easy. Power source not required. Demerit. Cannot use for automatic recording. Time lag in measurement. Range is limited to about 600 degrees Celsius. Fragile construction. Next slide. Application of thermometer. Thermometer utilize a range of physical effects to measure thermometer. Second, temperature sensors are used in a wide variety of scientific and engineering applications, especially measurement system. Third, suitable for most heating and ventilation application. A common application of thermometer is a measurement of outside temperature from inside of a building. Thank you.
So now group number 13 will give the presentation.
Mallar Navle, please present the presentation. Okay, first of all, thank you everyone for attending this meet. We will let's see and pyrometers. The pyrometers we will let's see in the radiation and optical pyrometers. We will presented by Mallar Navle, Shubham Nadre and Jitesh Nikam for me. Next slide. So this is the content of our PPT. What is a pyrometer? Introduction to optical and radiation pyrometer, construction of radiation and optical pyrometers, the working of the pyrometer and advantage and disadvantage of pyrometer and application of pyrometers. Next slide. First of all, we see introduction to pyrometer. A pyrometer is a radiation type thermometer that detects the temperature via distance. So with the hot body, the radiation of emits the hot body, that pyrometers captures the radiation and displays the temperature. So there is a definition. Pyrometer is a type of remote sensing thermometer used to measure the temperature of distant object. It is a device that from a distance determines the temperature of a surface from the amount of the thermal radiation it emits, a process known as pyrometry and sometimes radiometry. Pyrometers can be broadly classified into two categories, optical and radiation pyrometers. Next slide. So let's see a radiation pyrometer in brief. Radiation pyrometer is a non-contact temperature. It infers the temperature of an object by detecting its thermal radiation and emitted naturally. So when we direct the radiation pyrometer into a hot body, that captures the radiation and displays the temperature of the hot body. Radiation pyrometers are usually used to measure the highest temperature where physical contact with the hot body is not possible. Next slide. Construction of pyrometers. Lens. So construction in the pyrometer, the lens is focused. Lens is used to focus the radiated energy from the body onto the receiving element. The receiving element is a type of detector that converts the radiated energy into the electric energy to detect the temperature. Recording instrument. A temperature recorder or a controller is attached with the receiver or to obtain reading. Next slide. Working of a radiation pyrometer. So let's see it working. When the hot body emits the radiation, the lens is focused to the black body or temperature detector that converts the radiated energy into electrical energy for measuring the instrument to measuring instrument. The measuring instrument detects that temperature. Thermal radiation sensors are guided by the basic laws of black body radiation. Radiation pyrometers operate on the principle that energy radiated from a hot body is a function of its temperature. It measures that radiated heat emitted or emitted by a hot object. Next slide. Over to you, Mallar.
Advantages and disadvantages of radiation pyrometer. Advantages: first, it can be used to measure high range of temperatures. Second, it can be measure the temperature of those objects which are fixed at some place and also the object which are moving. Third, it is a non-contact type of pyrometer, that is they measure the temperature of hot object without contacting them. Fourth, it produces a fast response. Disadvantages: the first disadvantages is exhibits poor performance if any dust particles or gases are present between the hot object and the receiving lens. Second, sometimes it requires some cooling arrangement to remove the overheating of the instrument. Third, there is a problem in focusing the total radiation on the thermocouple if the lens is not placed properly. Fourth, it cannot be used to measure low temperature. It is expensive. Application of radiation pyrometer. As you can see, the image name is Fluke radiation pyrometer and infrared thermometer. These are the application of radiation pyrometer. It is used to measure temperature in a bright annealing furnace, hydrogen atmosphere, in copper bearings. Second, it is used to measure the temperature of hot object within a furnace. Third, it is used in condition where thermocouple fails to operate. Over to you, Shubham.
Optical pyrometer. Optical pyrometer is used to measure temperature. It is a non-contact type pyrometer. In certain situations, like measuring the temperature of molten lava, it is not possible to measure by making a physical contact of thermocouple to it. The thermocouple will fail to do the operation. In such case, optical pyrometer is used. Next, construction. The optical pyrometer is in cylindrical shape. It consists of eyepiece from which the observer observes the intensity of light inside it. The second is the power source, which is given to the bulb inside it. The current of the bulb is controlled by the rheostat. The next is the absorption screen, which is simply a converging lens. The next is the red filter. Red filter helps to narrowing the wavelength band of the light. Next, working. When the radiation of an body of an object enters the objective lens, next to the absorption screen, the observer adjusts the rheostat to vary the current of the bulb, which initially adjusts the brightness of the filament. As the intensity of the both filament and the object are same, then the filament vanishes completely. Reading the value of the PMMC meter, by reading the value, we can determine the temperature of the body. Over to you, Mallar.
Advantages and disadvantages of optical pyrometer. Advantages: it is used for high temperature. Second, it is used to check the distant object as well as moving the object's temperature. Third is accuracy. Fourth, it can be measured without connecting with the target. Fifth is less weight. Sixth, it is flexible and portable. Disadvantages: due to the radiation of thermal background dust and smoke, the accuracy of the device can be affected. Second, These do not apply to the temperature measuring of burning gases because they do not emit visible energy. Third, it is expensive. Fourth, manual type pyrometers are not suitable for evaluating the object's temperature and 8000 Celsius because at less temperature, the generated energy will be too low. Application of optical pyrometer. It is used to measure the temperature of highly heated materials. Second, it is used to measure furnace temperatures. Third, it is used in critical process measurements of semiconductor, medical, induction heat rating, crystal growth, furnace control, glass manufacture, medical, etc. Optical sensor radiation pyrometer is also known as pyrometer. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So now group number 14 will give the presentation.
Hello everyone, myself Sandeep Sanjay Nimbarkar, and I will be presenting the PPT about measurement of flow. So we will be learning introduction, types of flow measurements and its working, and its advantages and disadvantages. So let's see the introduction first. What is flow measurement? Flow measurement is the quantification of moment of fluids. Quantification is basically the measurementation, or you can say to measure something, to quantify. So it plays an important role in industrial field. Its application are from psychological processes to rocket science. It is widely used in petrol pump and water services, as you can see here, petrol pump and water services. Um, we will now discuss the type of flow measurement. First, orifice plate. Orifice plate. This is the diagram of it. So if we talk about its qualification, it starts from 6 millimeter onwards. It's a thin plate, sometimes of stainless steel. It works on differential pressure measurement principle, and it is used to measure flow rate, restricting flow and reducing pressure. This is the image, real life image. And if we talk about working, the pressure builds in the upstream. First of all, the pressure builds in the upstream, which is in the left side of the orifice plate. When the pressure is built, the left side of the orifice plate, the fluid is converged and the fluid pressure decreases. The diameter of the orifice plate is at 45 degrees, so that the converged fluid will be diverged accordingly, and after the divergence, the velocity is reduced again, regaining its pressure. At the bottom of the curve, there is the meter, which we can see, or we can say that shows the details of how much pressure is being released. And if we talk about its application, it is used in oil filtration, petrochemicals, and refineries, as we saw in the first slide. Its advantages are it's quite cheap, requires less space, can be installed vertically, horizontally, or inclined. Its disadvantages are it can get clogged, and 40 to 90% of head loss or differential pressure can get. Thank you so much. Next slide will be presented by Sujay Parwal.
Venturimeter. Venturimeter, it is a small pipe with a narrow cube inner surface. Venturimeter have three parts or section. First one is convergent cone, second one is throat, and third one is divergent cone. The length of convergent cone is shorter than a divergent cone. So the cone angle of convergent cone is 20 degree, and the cone angle of divergent cone is between 5 to 10 degrees. When the flow goes in the throat of venturimeter, pressure drop as compared to the convergent cone. The velocity of flow higher at the throat. There is a pressure energy converts into kinetic energy. In venturimeter, there is a smooth entry of flow and smooth exit of flow at throat as compared to orifice plate meter. It is working on Bernoulli's theorem. It is suitable for all types of liquid like slurries, abrasives, and liquid gases, etc. It is used in large diameter pipes, hence suitable for wastewater treatment plants. It is also allows the flow of some of the solid particles. Let's check it out, some advantages and disadvantages of venturimeter. First, advantages: less pressure drop and higher coefficient of discharge. Second, flexibility in installation. Third one is It have higher accuracy than any other type of flow measuring devices. Disadvantages. First one, it is expensive, highly expensive. Second one, higher maintenance cost and difficult to inspection. Third one, it is not suitable for pipe whose diameter less than 70 millimeter. Over to you, Nutan.
Next meter is flow nozzle. A flow nozzle which is held between flanks of pipe carrying the fluid. Those whose rate is being measured. The flow nozzle area is minimum at its throat. Openings are provided at two places, 1 and 2, for attaching a differential pressure sensor, that is YouTube manometer or differential pressure gauge, etc. Operation of flow nozzle. A fluid whose flow rate is to be measured enters the nozzle smoothly to the section called throat, where the area is minimum. Before entering the nozzle, the fluid pressure is the pipe is P1. As the fluid enters the nozzle, the fluid coverage and due to this, its pressure keeps on reducing until it reaches the minimum cross-sectional area or throat. This minimum pressure P2 at the throat of the nozzle is maintained in the fluid for a small length after being discharged in the downstream also. The differential pressure sensor attached between point 1 and 2 record the pressure difference P1 minus P2 between these 2 points, which becomes an indication of the flow rate of the fluid through the pipe when calibrated. Application of flow nozzle. First, it is used to measure flow rates of the liquid discharged into the atmosphere. Second, it is usually used in situations where suspended solid have a property of settling. Third, it is widely used for high pressure and temperature steam flows. Advantages of flow nozzle. First is installation is easy and is cheaper than compared to venturi meter. Second, it is very compact. Third is has high coefficient of discharge. And disadvantages of flow nozzle. First is pressure recovery is low. Second, maintenance is high. Third, installation is difficult when compared to orifice flow meter. Second slide. Next. Then pitot tubes. Working of pitot tubes. A pitot tube is simply a small cylinder that faces fluid so that the fluid can enter it, because the cylinder is on one side and enclosed on the other. Fluid entering in cannot flow any further and comes to the rest inside of the device. A diaphragm inside in the pitot tube separates the incoming pressure, that is static pressure, from the total pressure of a system. The difference between these two measurements determines the flow rate of fluid rate of flow. And advantages of pitot tubes. Pitot tubes measure pressure level in a fluid. They do not contain any moving parts and routine use does not easily damage them. Also, pitot tubes are small and can be used in tight space that other device cannot fit into. Disadvantages of pitot tubes. Foreign material in a fluid can easily lodge pitot tubes and disrupt normal readings at a result. This is a major problem that has already caused several aircrafts to crash and many more to make emergency landings. And application of pitot tubes. In industry, the flow velocities being measured are often those flowing in ducts and tubing, where pitot tubes is used in weather station with high wind speed. Thank you.
Now group number 15 will be giving the presentation.
जयेश पाटील.
येस सर. गुड आफ्टरनून. गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
जेव्हा प्रेझेंटेशन चालू करशील ना तेव्हा अनम्यूट कर.
ओके ओके. हॅलो सर, आय एम ऑडिबल.
येस येस, गो अहेड.
Good afternoon, sir, and all students. Here, my group presenting the following types of the flow meter, which are rotameter, alvometer, and electromagnetic flow meter. Very first is rotameter. A rotameter is a device that measures the volumetric flow rate of a fluid in a closed tube. It belongs to a class of meters called variable area flow meters, which measure flow rate by allowing the cross-sectional area the fluid travels through a vary causing a measurable effect. It is invented by Karl Kuipers in HN in 1908. Construction and working of rotameter. A rotameter consists essentially of a graduated taper metering glass tube mounted vertically in a frame with the large end up. Inside the tube is the fluid, which is an indicating element. The greater the flow rate, the higher the flow rates in the tube. The fluid flows up through the tube and suspend freely afloat, which actually doesn't float, but it completely submerged in fluid. The entire fluid stream flows through the annular space between the float and tube well. Our next flow meter is alvometer.
शेअर काय करते?
सर स्क्रीन माझी शेअर नाही आली आहे. हॅलो,
शेअर तुझं पीपीटी कर. शेअर पीपीटी कशात ओपन केलंय तू पीपीटी?
स्लाइड्स मध्ये सर.
slides.google.
येस.
हा, मग ती टॅब शेअर कर. टॅब शेअर दॅट टॅब म्हणून येईल बघ. टॅब, मग ती टॅब सिलेक्ट कर आणि मग शेअर कर. आता स्टॉप शेअरिंग कर. समजलं का? स्टॉप शेअरिंग वर क्लिक कर. हा, आता आलं बघ.
Alvometer is one of the common flow measurement system which are used to determine the pressure difference occurring as a fluid flow changes by resistance. The differential pressure exists when a flowing changes direction due to a pipe turn. Construction and working of alvometers operate on the principle that when liquid travels in a circular path, centrifugal force is exerted along the other edges. When liquid flows through a pipe elbow, the force on the elbow's interior surface is proportional to the density of liquid times the square of its velocity, inversely proportional to the elbow's radius.
So now group number 16 will give the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rupesh Apkal, and with my two other friends, Sandeep Rajwar and Tanya Rajput, we'll be doing a presentation on the topic ultrasonic flow meters and hot wire anemometers. In this presentation, we'll see basically what is flow measurement, and then our main topic, ultrasonic flow meter, in which we'll show you its origin, definition, the diagram, and its principle and work application. And then in secondary topic, we'll show you what are hot wire anemometers and its construction, working, and then applications. So let's see what is basically flow measurement. In flow measurement is a process of measuring fluid in your plant or industry. You can basically measure flow through a variety of different devices such as Coriolis, differential pressure, vortex, magnetic, ultrasonic, turbine, and positive displacement meters. Basically, this topic is already been covered by group number 14, so I will not go through it. And now let's see the origin. The first ultrasonic flow meter was invented by a Japanese physicist, namely Shigeru Satomoyo, in the year 1959, and this ultrasonic flow meter was made by the use of Doppler technology, and its main intention was to deliver the analysis of blood flow. And then later on, after 4 years, the earliest flow meters have appeared in industrial application. An ultrasonic flow meter can be defined as a meter that is used to measure liquid velocity with ultrasound to analyze the volume of liquid flow. And this is a volumetric flow meter that needs bubble or minute particles within the liquid flow. Now here, an ultrasonic flow meter is a non-invasive sensor, meaning that it is outside the pipe and not in contact with the fluid. Here we can see there are two transmitting, a transmitting crystal and a receiving crystal, and then an transmitted ultrasonic beam, and then a reflected ultrasonic beam. And there are particles gas bubbles moving within the liquid. If there are no particles within the liquid, we will not be able to measure any velocity about it. And this flow meter propagates sound waves through the pipe wall into the flowing liquid when the sound waves are reflected by moving particles. And then the emission of sound waves originates in an oscillator, a device that is sends pulses of current through a piezoelectric device made of a crystal. And the pulses are transmitted upstream in the flowing meter. Each ultrasonic wave that is sent upstream gets reflected back to the receiving element from the particles or gas bubbles along with the liquid. And the transducer converts the sound. The measurement made by this device are based on the frequency of reflected pulses. The difference in let's just move on. Basically, the principle of the working principle of ultrasonic flow meter is it uses sound waves to resolve the velocity of a liquid within the pipe. And then there are two conditions in the pipe, like no flow and then flowing. In the first condition, the frequencies of ultrasonic waves are transmitted into a pipe and its indications from the fluid are similar. In the second condition, the reflected waves frequency is dissimilar because of the Doppler effect. Now here the Doppler effect is a other topic which if we go in detail it will be really confusing. So in the below given diagram there are shown two transducers which is above one and then we have a one below, and then the distance between these two transducers P L, it is denoted by L, and then P is mainly the fluid path length which is diagonally, and then these transducers are basically placed in such a way that they make a 45-degree angle with the pipe. Now let's move on to the applications. These meters are used in wastewater and dirty liquid applications, and these meters are used wherever chemical compatibility, less maintenance and low pressure drops are required. And they are also used to measure the velocity of a liquid through ultrasound to analyze volume flow. And these meters measure the disparity between the transmit time of ultrasonic pulses which transmit with the direction of a liquid flow. Now in this diagram we can see there are these two things which are called clamp-on meters. These are also a type of ultrasonic flow meters which are really cheap and are easy to use, but because we just have to put them above the pipe, because if we use other kinds of ultrasonic flow meters, we have to cut the pipe and then weld the meter with the pipe. But if we just use these, they are easy to handle and easy to use. Now moving on to the next topic, hot wire anemometers. Hot wire anemometer works when an electrically heated wire is placed in a flowing gas stream. Heat is transferred from the wire to the gas, and hence the temperature of the wire reduces, and due to this the resistance of wire also changes. This change in resistance of wire becomes a measure of flow rate. Here below we have shown you two digital hot wire anemometers. Now let's see the construction. The hot wire anemometers consist two main parts: conducting wire and Wheatstone bridge network. The conducting wire is housed inside the ceramic body, and the wires are taken out from the ceramic body and connecting to the Wheatstone bridge. The Wheatstone bridge measures the variation of resistance. In the below diagram, we have shown you a Wheatstone bridge connected to a rheostat and a battery, and then the wires are placed inside the pipe in which the gas flows, and this green color wire is a heat wire. Now the working, my companion Tanya Rajput will tell you more about this.
Now we will see the working of hot wire anemometer. It works when an electrically heated wire is placed in a flowing gas stream, and then the heat is transferred from the wire to the gas, making the temperature of the wire reduced, and due to this the resistance of the wire also changes. This change in resistance of the wire becomes a measure of flow rate. And then we will see the applications slide. In chemical industry, a hot wire anemometer is used to measure ammonia gas, and in battery factory it is used to measure the various gas flow in the sampling system, and in metallurgical industry it is used for controlling as well as the measurement of heating furnace gas, and it is used in rolling mills to control oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen and other gases, and it is used in the quenching furnace for gas, and in power industry it is used to measure primary as well as secondary air within the blast furnace of power plant. Also used to measure gas throughout gas distribution within the fuel system and various gases measurement in boilers as well as auxiliary systems. Also, it is used to measure the aeration tank within the sewage treatment method and used to measure the discharge of nitric oxide and sulfur dioxide for gas measurement within biogas use process, and also used to measure the chlorine gas throughout chlorine treatment. Thank you.
So now group number 17 will give the presentation.
Sir, am I audible? Good afternoon to one and all. Today my group and me, we are going to present presentation on measurement of pressure. What is measurement of pressure? Why is it important in every field? Pressure measurement is the analysis of an applied force by a fluid. Pressure is typically measured in units of force per unit of surface area. Pressure is an important quantity that describes a system. Pressure is invariably an important process parameter. Pressure difference is used many times as a mean of measuring the flow rate of fluid. Pressure levels span from 18 orders of magnitude from the lowest to the highest pressure encountered in practice. Various instruments used for measurement of pressure. Instruments used to measure and display pressure in an integral unit are called pressure meters or pressure gauges or vacuum gauges. Widely used Bourdon pressure gauge is a great example of pressure measuring instruments. However, when Bourdon pressure gauges reach their limit, diaphragm pressure gauges are used. This is an image of Bourdon pressure gauge. This mechanical device can measure and also can indicate the pressure going through. Now I hand over to my head Aditya. Aditya.
Screen present कर. Vacuum gauge. Vacuum gauge is a pressure gauge used to measure the measure power lower than the ambient atmospheric pressure, which is set as 0 point in negative values. For instance, minus 50 psi or 760 mm Hg equals to total vacuum. Most gauges measures pressure relative to atmospheric pressure as the 0 point. So this form of a reading is simply referred to as gauge pressure. However, anything greater than a total vacuum is technically a form of a pressure. For accurate reading, especially at a very low pressure, a gauge that uses total vacuum as a 0 point may be used, given reading in a absolute scale. Now my friend will explain the next slide. Over to you, Mrunal.
Good afternoon, everyone. Here I am going to explain you about diaphragm. Diaphragm is the pressure gauge consists of circular membrane made from sheet metal of precise dimensions, which can either be flatted or corrugated. Corrugated metal diaphragms are ideal for an high temperature applications such as mechanical seals, below pressure transducer, etc. In diaphragm pressure gauges, the pressure is transmitted via wave-shaped diaphragm to a link. This then transfers the pressure to the movement. Diaphragm pressure gauges show their strength. For example, when measuring low pressure due to the large diaphragm surface, measuring range from 16 millibar are possible for a Bourdon tube pressure gauge. On the other hand, the smallest measuring range is 600 millibar. Also, diaphragm pressure gauges offer good protection against overload since the diaphragm can support itself against the upper flange. The diaphragm is mechanically connected to the transmission mechanism, which will amplify the smallest deflection of diaphragm and transfer them to the pointer. Here, for example, in diaphragm, to measure the applied force on the deflector. There are some types and features application in diaphragm. Diaphragm wells get their name from a flexible disc which comes into contact with a for precise flow control and electric relay of well position. Next, about diagram. Here are some of advantages of diaphragm. We can see they are really sensitive. It can measure fractional pressure differences at the minute range. It only needs less space. This type of pressure measurement device is used for the measurement of low vacuum or differential pressure. It can be used in corrosive environments. Here is the diagram of diaphragm. There are some parts, diaphragm, long lever, sector, Pytot connection, Pytot tube, ram ear, static airline, hands up pinion. Thank you.
So now group number 18 will give the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to talk about measurement of pressure balance. This PPT introduction. Below opinion, gear, control springs, and the seamless valid unit has several elevation. It is found thin tube can be made of features either by turning from a solid stock or by welding any other rings. Bellows can also be manufactured by welding a series of formed plates together in an outer meter. Bellows are in a shell. Bellows a position of spring. A rod press against the free point.
स्क्रीन शेयर कौन सा चालू है?
Sir, I am sharing the screen.
नॉट विजिबल. स्क्रीन पे वो पीपीटी भी ओपन करना चाहिए ना.
Wait, sir. Sir, I should start with the beginning.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Now it
Good
is
afternoon,
visible.
sir. Okay, sir. So our today's topic of presentation is measurement of bellows pressure. Measurement of pressure bellows. So it is prepared by Karuna Shinde, Sakshi Sonavane, and Ayush Suryavanshi. Next slide, please. So here is the introduction. Bellows pressure gauges are devices used to measure absolute and differential pressure. As we can see that there is a scale, head, spring, pinion, gear, connecting link, spring bellows, case, and pressure connection. Next. So here is the construction. Bellows element is a thin piece collapse side seamless metallic unit having several convolutions or folds, and it is formed from a very thin wall tubing. Bellows can be considered to be made of capsules connected to each other. Bellows element is manufactured by turning from a solid stock or by welding stamped annular rings. Bellows may also be manufactured by welding a series of formed plates together at their inner and outer diameter. The bellows elements resemble the bulb of household kerosene pump. Metallic bellows are enclosed in a shell, and bellows movement is opposed by compression of spring. A rod spring against the bellows end of the free end of the bellows, which is connected to a pointer mechanism. Change the slides. Materials used in bellows. Bellows are made up of brass, phosphor, bronze, beryllium, copper, monel, stainless steel, and nickel. The choice of material depends upon pressure, range, and corrosion resistance. So, working of bellows. When is fed inside the gauge, it acts on the outside of the bellows, and bellows gets compressed. Due to compression, free end of the bellows move against the opposing force of the spring. This free end movement raises the rod resting against that it transmits the movement of the pointer. The pointer deflection represents the pressure fed outside the bellows. Over to you, Ayush.
Advantages of bellows. Bellows gauge are moderate. Bellows is able to deliver high forces. Bellows are adaptable for absolute and differential pressures. Disadvantage of bellows. Bellows are not useful to measure high value pressure. Bellows joint can fail catastrophically. No in place maintenance or repair can be performed. They must be replaced if damaged. Application of bellows. Metal bellows are also used in other products and market segment, including medical application like implantable drug pump, industrial actuators, aerospace applications such as altitude sensor and fluid management devices, accumulators, surge arresters, value compensator, and fluid storage. Thank you.
So now group number 19 will give the presentation.
Good afternoon, sir and everyone. I am Pooja Tak, and my group members are Tejal Tarde and Priyesh Tekade. We are going to give a presentation on Bourdon tube pressure gauge. We are going to this following points in our presentation. The following points are definition, construction, working, advantage and disadvantage of Bourdon tube pressure gauge, and application. Let's see what is a Bourdon tube pressure gauge. Borden tube pressure gauge are used for measurement of gauge pressure from 0.6 to 7000 bar. Borden tube pressure gauge is a mechanical instrument that gives an accurate pressure measurement without requiring any electrical power. Over to you, Tejal.
Pooja, um, I will be explaining the construction of Borden tube pressure gauge and the working of Borden tube pressure gauge. So let's see the main parts of Borden tube pressure gauge are Borden tube, spinal, and spinal, and dial and pointer. So Borden tube, Borden tube is the main part of the Borden tube pressure gauge, and it is an transducer. It converts the applied pressure into an electrical signal, and this Borden tube is fixed at and open at one end to receive the pressure which is to be measured, and its other end is free and closed. The cross section of the Borden tube is elliptical, and this Borden tube is in the bent form which looks like a circular arc. So Borden tube is as it's over an elliptical and in cross section of its thickness, and its thickness is 0.01 to 0.05 inches. Then they are found in the C shape and helical shape. So the next part is a sector and pinion. Then to the free end of Borden tube, it is attached to an adjustable link, which in turn is connected to a sector in and pinion. Then to the shaft of pinion, a pointer is connected, which trips over the pressure calibrated scale. Pooja, next. Now let's see the working of the Borden tube pressure gauge. So before the working, let's see the working principle of Borden tube pressure gauge. So when an electric transducer such as Borden tube, in this case, is subjected to a pressure, it deflects, and this deflection is proportional to the applied pressure when it is calibrated. So as you can see in the image, the open end of a Borden tube is connected to the equipment or a fluid transfer line whose pressure we have to measure. Then when the fluid enters into the Borden tube, the hoop gets stressed. The stress is generated in the on the hoop and onto the tube, which tries to fit the circular tube. Then this allows the seal end of the tube to move in the non-linear manner. And this movement of seal end is then magnified by the gear sector and pinion arrangement, which allows the pointer to move onto the calibrated dial. When the pressure is removed, this Borden tube regains its shape and allows the pointer to move on the zero position. Further, over to you, Priyesh.
As we know, every machine has its instruments and has its pros and cons. Now we are going to see the advantages of the Borden tube. First, it is the simple in construction, easy to assemble. Please use sorry everyone. It is used for the large amount of pressure range. It is very affordable. It is, as Pooja told at the start, it gives the measurement accurately. Second, it has a good sensitivity, shows how the pressure gauge is given in. Moving to the cons, that is the disadvantages of the Borden tube. It has the subjected to the hysteresis. It is a proportional to the pressure into the maximum amount of pressure applied. Second is slowly responds to changes in pressure. Third, while taking the reading, we feel the vibration due to the pressure. Fourth, amplification. Amplification means it gives amplification is much at the displacement of the free end of the Borden tube is low. Next slide. As we all know, it is the pressure measuring instrument. It is used in most of the applications from medium to high pressure measurement, and most commonly we see these instruments utilized in the application as we shown in the image. steam boiler. Second, gas pipeline, and most commonly we see in the air pressure monitor. Second slide. Second, it is a pressure gauge, and next is fire extinguisher and tank vessel. Thank you, everyone.
So now group number 20 will give the presentation.
Soham.
Yes. The screen is visible.
Yes.
राकेश आर्य और समर्थ का भी हुआ क्या?
Can you start?
थम जरा.
राकेश आर्य और समर्थ जो है ना, वो दोनों का हुआ है क्या?
Yes, sir.
तेजल?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
जो ग्रुप है ना, रुपेश बिंड के पहले वाले, आदित्य भिड़े के पहले वाले, उनका सबका हो गया है क्या? एक बार कंफर्म करवा दो मुझे.
सर ग्रुप नंबर 4 बाकी है.
कौन सा? ये देवेंद्र वाला? नहीं, देवेंद्र का हो गया ना. ये मार्गेश वाला बाकी लगता है.
मार्गेश, हर्षल एंड रुपेश बिंद.
और आदित्य भिड़े?
आदित्य भिड़े, सॉरी सर. मार्गेश, रुपेश एंड आदित्य भिड़े.
उसका पेंडिंग है ना? वही ग्रुप का पेंडिंग है ना? पिछले वाला बाकी सबका हो गया?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can we start?
Yeah, go ahead. Start.
Hi friends. I am Gaurav Vare, my friends Soham and Vivek. My topic name is low pressure measurement and vacuum pressure measurement using Pirani gauge. हम इसमें देखने जा रहे हैं वर्किंग ऑफ पिरानी गेज, कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ पिरानी गेज, प्रिंसिपल एडवांटेज एंड एप्लीकेशन ऑफ पिरानी गेज. सबसे पहले हम बात करने जाते हैं व्हाट इज अ पिरानी गेज. पिरानी गेज क्या होता है? पिरानी गेज is a device used to measure pressure, especially in vacuum system. It was invented in the year 1906 by Marcello Stefan Pirani, a German physician. It based on a hot metal wire that is suspended in the tube and exposed to gas pressure media. These hot metal wires are made up of tungsten, nickel or platinum wire. पिरानी गेज ये डिवाइस स्पेशली वैक्यूम सिस्टम, मतलब एटमॉस्फेरिक में जो प्रेशर है उसका मेजरमेंट, उसका हीट या अदर इसका टेम्परेचर मेजर करने के लिए पिरानी गेज यूज किया जाता है. इसका शोध 1906 में जर्मन फिजिशियंस ने लगाया था. हॉट मेटल वायर, टंगस्टन एंड अदर मटेरियल के थ्रू हम पिरानी गेज कैसा एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर मेजर करता है वो देखते हैं. सबसे पहले हम अभी देखने जा रहे हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ पिरानी गेज. कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ पिरानी गेज में हम देखेंगे सबसे पहले हम डायग्राम दाखवरची ज्याच्यावरची पहिली अजून. हाँ, हम देखने जा रहे हैं इधर पिरानी गेज ये वेस्टर्न ब्रिज है. वेस्टर्न ब्रिज के थ्रू बनाया जाता है. तो वेस्टर्न ब्रिज एक लेबोरेटरी या जिधर हम जिस एरिया का एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर हमें मेजर करना है उधर हम रखते हैं. सो हम डायग्राम में देख सकते हैं उधर गैस मॉलिक्यूल्स है. गैस ट्यूब ओपन है, गैस ट्यूब ओपन रहता है और रेफरेंस ट्यूब क्लोज रहता है. उसमें फिलामेंट्स जो बना रहता है वो एक बेसिक आयन और मटेरियल से बनाया जाता है. हमें प्रेशर मेजर करने के लिए हम यूज करेंगे वोल्ट मीटर और एमीटर. बैटरी भी लगाई जाती है पावर सप्लाई के लिए. करंट जो हमें चाहिए उसके लिए हम बैटरी लगाएंगे. रेजिस्टेंस R1 R2 यूज किया जाता है इसमें. ये सब मटेरियल के थ्रू हम पिरानी गेज का वेस्टर्न ब्रिज बना सकते हैं. उसके बाद वर्किंग ऑफ पिरानी गेज काम कैसा करता है वो हम अभी देखने जाएंगे. खाली पे वर्किंग ऑफ पिरानी गेज में हम देखेंगे तो पावर सप्लाई से मिनिमम करंट छोड़ेंगे तो ऊपर जो गैस ट्यूब में फिलामेंट है वो फिलामेंट हीटेड होने के बाद वही करंट आगे बढ़ेगा और रेफरेंस ट्यूब में जो फिलामेंट है उसको चार्ज करेगा. फिर वापस आके ये जो चक्र है वो लगातार चलता रहता है. लेकिन गैस ट्यूब हमारी ओपन है, उसकी गैस ट्यूब ओपन होने के होती है, इसलिए जो एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर में जो गैस मॉलिक्यूल्स रहेंगे वो गैस ट्यूब के सहारे अंदर आएंगे और फ्लेमेंट पर जब टकराएंगे दे गेट चार्ज, उसमें एक चार्ज बढ़ेगा और आगे आगे जो करंट फ्लो होता है वो करंट पे उसका असर दिखना चालू हो जाएगा। रेफरेंस टू हमारी क्यूब क्लोज रहती है, उस पर कोई भी वैक्यूम की एटमॉस्फेरिक गैस मॉलिक्यूल्स का प्रेशर नहीं होता है, तो हम एमीटर के थ्रू वो चेक करेंगे कि जब करंट हमारा थ्रू फ्लो हो रहा था गैस ट्यूब में जो फ्लेमेंट है उस उधर जाके कितना है और आगे जाके कितना हुआ। इसी तरह से हम एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर काउंट कर सकते हैं। अगर सपोज हमने पावर सप्लाई से 70 एम्पीयर करंट छोड़ दिया और वो जब गैस ट्यूब में गया तब फ्लेमेंट का उधर 70 एम्पीयर था। जब भी गैस मॉलिक्यूल उसको टकराने के बाद गैस मॉलिक्यूल्स ने कुछ करंट उसमें से ऑब्जर्व कर दिया और हम जब आगे जाके चेक करेंगे ओम मीटर या एमीटर पे हमें दिखाई देता है रेफरेंस ट्यूब में जो फ्लेमेंट है उसका चार्ज कम हो रहा है, तो हम उसी तरह से हमारे लॉस के थ्रू करंट इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू द प्रेशर ऑफ गैस। इस लॉ से हम देखेंगे तो 70 माइनस, अगर रेफरेंस टू में सपोज 50 हमें वोल्ट मीटर दिखा रहा है तो 70 माइनस 50 इज इक्वल टू 20, तो 20 इज अ गैस प्रेशर मेजरमेंट हो सकता है। इसी तरह हम एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर में कितना है गैस मॉलिक्यूल्स का हो हम ढूंढ सकते हैं। पिरानी गेज पूरा वर्किंग हमारे थर्मल कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ गैस के ऊपर डिपेंड रहता है। थर्मल कंडक्टिविटी गैस क्या है वो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ। थर्मल कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ गैस हम जब पिछले हमारे इससे आगे वाले चैप्टर में वो सिखाया गया था। थर्मल कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ गैस हम ये बताती है कि कितना हीट ट्रांसफर हो रहा है और पिरानी गैस हमें ये बताता है कि जब हीट ट्रांसफर होती है फ्लेमेंट से या रेजिस्टेंस से तो गैस मॉलिक्यूल्स कितने ऑब्जर्व कर लेते हैं और कितना बाकी रहता है। और उसके बाद हम देखने जाएंगे ये किधर इसका एप्लीकेशन कहाँ किया जाता है। पिरानी गेज का एप्लीकेशन हम देखेंगे। पिरानी गेज application is used to measure pressure at low pressure and high pressure vacuum measurement. It also used to plot graph based on data obtained curve to convert air reading into another gases। इसमें हम ग्राफ बेस करने में वो MIDC वर्कर्स या कंपनीज में हमें ये पिरानी गेज यूज करते हुए देखेंगे। और एयर रीडिंग जो हम देखेंगे HP, हिंदुस्तान पेट्रोलियम या अदर कंपनीज में जो बड़े बड़े गैस के टैंक रहते हैं उसमें अगर हमें वैक्यूम प्रेशर और गैस के वो टैंक के अंदर कितना गैस प्रेशर मेजरमेंट कर रहा है वो करने के लिए बेसिकली पिरानी गेज का यूज किया जाता है। एडवांटेज ऑफ पिरानी गेज हम देखेंगे तो दे आर इट्स ओवर थ्रू विवेक वरगड़े। एडवांटेज ऑफ पिरानी गेज। Yes, येतोय आवाज.
Advantages of Pirani gauge. They are rugged and inexpensive. It gives accurate result at low pressure. Pressure measurement can be read remotely. Gauge is preferred over the thermocouple gauge, which is another type of thermal conductivity. It is preferred because it is 10 times faster and a wider range of pressure measured. Operation of Pirani gauge. Continuous flows is passed through the filament in the petrogen gauge chamber. Due to this current, the filament heat up and assume a resistance that is measured using the bridge. Now the pressure measurement is connected to the Pirani gauge chamber. The applied pressure changes the density around the Pirani gauge. Due to this change in the density around the filament, its conductivity changes, which causes the temperature of the filament to change. When the temperature of the filament change, the resistance of the filament also changes. Now the change in resistance of the filament is determined using the bridge. This changes in resistance of the Pirani gauge filament becomes the measurement of applied pressure when calibrated. Thank you.
So now group number 21 will give the presentation.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I am Mohammad Adnan, and today I, along with Vedanshi, Ankit, and Sujit, are going to represent our topic, that is ionization gauge and vacuum gauge. Next slide, please. Ionization gauge is a device that is used to measure vacuum. In the hot cathode type, type of column of gas is introduced into which a potential difference is applied with free electrons in the space. This causes the electrons with a charge E to acquire kinetic energy. If the pressure range of the gas in the column goes below a certain limit called the critical pressure, then corresponding to a voltage larger the critical voltage, the energy may be high enough to initiate the ionization, and positive ions will be produced when the electrons collide with the gas molecules. Over to you, Vedanshi.
The grid is maintained at a large positive potential with respect to the cathode and the plate. The plate is at a negative potential with respect to the cathode. This method is also known as external control type of ionization gauge, as the positive ion collector is external to the electron collector grid with reference to the cathode. The positive ions available between the grid and the cathode will be drawn by the cathode, and those between the grid and the plate will be collected by the plate. This is the working of external type ionization gauge.
Working of internal type ionization gauge. One of the most popularly used hot filament gauge for industrial application is the Biard-Alpert type filament gauge. It consists of a helical grid with a potential of plus 150 volts. This huge potential attracts the electrons and thus causes gas ionization. At minus 30 volts, the gas ions are attracted to the central ion collector, thus producing an ion current of 100 mA per torr. This value is then fed to the electronic system to be amplified and displayed.
Good afternoon, sir. Hello. A vacuum gauge is a pressure measuring instrument that measures pressure in a vacuum. That is a vessels operating at a subatmospheric pressure, depending on the type of vacuum system and the required operating vacuum level. Different vacuum gases are required often in a combination with one another to accurately determine and control the vacuum level of the chamber at any given moment. Change the slide. Types of vacuum gases: mechanical gases, absolute pressure gases, and thermocouple of Piranic gases, ionization gases, and encelado gases. Working of vacuum gases. Vacuum gases are divided into three basic categories based on their working pressures. This includes absolute pressure gases, medium vacuum gases use down of around 0.001 MBAR, high vacuum gases for a use below 0.00 MBAR. Thank you.
So now group number 4 will give the presentation.
फर्स्ट ग्रुप अभी रेडी हो रहा है कि हुआ है?
सर ग्रुप नंबर 4 करने वाला है अभी प्रेजेंट, सिर्फ ग्रुप नंबर 4 बाकी है।
वो रेडी है ना अभी सर? ये
आमच्या
प्रेजेंट
ग्रुप
करने
मधला पहिला मेंबर आहे तो नाही आता.
हाँ, जितने लोग हैं प्रेजेंट वो कंप्लीट कर दो.
ओके सर.
स्टार्ट स्क्रीन शेयरिंग.
सर थांबा सर, एक प्रॉब्लेम झाला.
डायरेक्ट सेकेंड ईयर स्टूडेंट्स, आपको अभी पूछने वाला हूँ मैं, क्या क्या सीखा आपने, नोट डाउन क्या क्या किया. रेडी है ना आप लोग? ये हो गए लेफ्ट मीटिंग.
सर मैं क्लास लीव करूँगा, मेरा मोबाइल डिस्चार्ज हो गया, पूरा स्विच ऑफ होने वाला.
जब स्विच ऑफ होगा तभी तू ज्वाइन रहेगा क्या? अभी तुझे पता है ना, तो अभी चार्जर ढूंढ और लगा चार्जिंग को.
सर किधर गांव में किधर लाइट है? 1 किलोमीटर दूर जाके चार्ज करना पड़ेगा सर.
तो गाँव गया क्यों तू?
आज ही का डेथ हो गया सर, मजबूरी में आना पड़ा.
अच्छा, तुझे पता है कि एक पावर बैंक नाम का कुछ तो चीज रहता है, पता है तेरे को? ऐसा कुछ होता है?
हाँ मालूम है सर.
मालूम है ना? तो क्या कर रहा है वो मालूमात का? तू क्या कर रहा है?
सर मिलना तो मांगता है इधर, अभी जाएगा बाजार में तभी ना लेके आएगा सर.
अच्छा ऐसा है क्या? मुझे पता नहीं था रे. बाजार में मिलता है क्या वो?
हाँ सर.
हर्षल पासून चालू कर रहे. Hello everyone, my name is Harshal Anil Bere. I am explaining you about Wheatstone, Kelvin double bridge and Kelvin bridge. Next page. Our topic is Kelvin double bridge. A Kelvin bridge or Kelvin double bridge is modified version of the Wheatstone bridge, which can measure resistance value in the range between 1 ohm to 1 micro ohm with higher accuracy. It is named because it uses another set of ratio arm and galvanometer to measure unknown resistance value. Next page. Before we going to start learning about Wheatstone double bridge, we have to know some main points about Kelvin bridge. As we know, the in equation in Wheatstone bridge equation, we get P upon Q is equal to R upon S, and with reference to that, in this bridge we have to take this equation R1 upon R2 is equal to P upon Q. The construction of Kelvin bridge is like just like Wheatstone bridge, but we have one variable 2 points at bottom of this bridge at point M and N. We are going to connect one unknown value conductor, and we are going to measure the resistance of that wire or conductor. Now we are going to connect the one point of galvanometer D at middle of this M and N. Then we get R1 and R2. That two resistance values are going to be proportional with P upon P and Q. Hence we get this equation R1 upon R2 is equal to P upon Q. And then we are going to verify that the R1 and we are getting R1 and R2 values using R plus R1 is equal to P upon Q into S plus R2. And this is the we are going to simplify these equations in further. This is our principle of Kelvin bridge, but our main topic is Kelvin double bridge. Next slide. At the end we get R plus P upon PQ into R is equal to P upon Q in bracket S plus Q upon P plus Q bracket R is equal to P upon Q into S. Hence we have verified here the Wheatstone bridge equation is we are getting rightly. The above equation shows that if the galvanometer connect at the point D, then resistance of lead will not affect the result. The above mentioned process is practically not possible. Means this is not going to be practically possible. There will be some errors. Next slide. This is our circuit diagram of Kelvin double bridge. Here we have connected galvanometer at P and B and D point, and other things are same like Kelvin bridge. And here we have drawn M and N resistance here at middle of bridge, and we have taken two more parallel branch as we seen in definition, small p and small q, which are proportional with big Q and big P. Next slide. The Kelvin bridge is the idea of the two set of resistance arms, hence the name double bridge, and the use of two terminal resistors of the low resistance arms. Figure shows the schematic diagram of Kelvin bridge. The first arm of resistance ratio arm is P and Q. The second set of ratio arm is small p and small q is used to connect the galvanometer at the point D and at the appropriate potential difference points P and M and N to eliminate the effect of connecting lead resistance R between the unknown resistance R and the standard resistance S. The ratio P upon Q is made used to equal to big Q and big P upon big Q. Under balanced condition, there is no current through the galvanometer, which means that the voltage drop between A and B, EAB, is equal to voltage drop across A, EMD between A and C. Next, here is our equation where we are getting EB value, and we are taking EB equal to EAMD to verify our equation. If we take P upon Q is equal to small p upon small q to become R is equal to P upon Q into S. Next, This is how our actually practical Kelvin double bridge looks like. Here we have all terminals which we are going to connect while doing practical. Next, here are some advantages and disadvantages of Kelvin double bridge. The advantage is it can measure the resistance value in the range of 0.1 microampere to 1 ampere. It means we require very less amount of current to use this bridge. Power consumption is less, means we don't have to get big power sources. Simple in construction, and it is high. High means higher than Kelvin bridge or Wheatstone bridge. Disadvantages: if knowing whether the bridge is balanced or not, the sensitive galvanometer is used. Means we have to use high sensitive galvanometer in this bridge to obtain good sensitivity of the device. A higher current is required. Limitations of Kelvin bridge: the sensitive galvanometer is used for detecting the balance condition. The higher measurement current is required for obtaining the good sensitivity. Next slide. Here is our application of Kelvin double bridge. The Kelvin double bridge is used to measure unknown resistance of wire, means very less amount of resistance. Thank you.
My name is Aditya Sanjay Bide. My topic is ohm meter. The types of ohm meter. The ohm meter is approximate the value of resistance. It is used in laboratory. It is of three types. They are series type of ohm meter, shunt ohm meter, and multi-range ohm meter. First, series ohm meter. In series ohm meter, the measuring resistance component or a circuit is connected in series with the meter. The value of resistance is measured through movement connect in a parallel with the shunt resistor. The parallel resistance R2 is connected in series with the resistance and the battery. The component whose resistance is used to be measured is connected in series with the terminal A and B. The circuit is diagram series ohm meter. Second, shunt type ohm meter. The meter in which the measuring resistance is connected in parallel with the battery is known as shunt ohm meter. It is mainly used for measuring the low value resistance. The battery, basic meter, and the adjustable resistance are the main components of the shunt ohm meter. The unknown resistor is connected across terminal A and B. Third, multi-range ohm meter. The range of type of ohm meter is very high. The meter has adjuster which select the range according to need. For example, we use the meter for measuring the resistor under 10 ohms. For this, first we have to range of 10 ohms. The resistance whose value is to be measured is connected parallel with the meter. The magnitude of resistance determined through the deflection of pointer. The application of ohm meter. The use of ohm meter include the following. The meter can be used to ensure the continuity of circuit, which means sufficient flow of current flow of through circuit within circuit. These are broadly used to electronics labs in engineering to test electronic components. These are used for ICs such as PCBs, and their staff requires to be execute sensitive device. This is all about overview of an ohm meter with application. This meter is used to measure the resistance as well as the connection of components in electrical circuit. It measures resistance in ohms. The micrometer is used to calculate low resistance. Mega ohm meter is used to calculate high resistance and extremely convenient. Thank you.
Okay, done, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So now you can mark your attendance for both the lectures. So like earlier you have done at 1:15, right? Have you done it? I don't know. Then you mark your attendance right now, and you can leave the meeting. We are remaining with some 2 points that we will cover in the next time. But direct second year students, now you have come across almost all the presentations. These presentations will be made available to you. So you need to do some self study also, so that it will be helpful for you for examination point of view. Okay, so yes, definitely there are other subjects also for which you need to study, but for this course every material is available, everything is available to you. Now it's up to you how you are using this particular material and how you are getting the benefit out of it. Okay, so make sure you take benefit of all the study material provided in the Google Classroom, which is already there. And also I am going to add this presentation in one Drive folder, and that folder will also be shared with you, so that you will be getting all the information in a sequential manner. Okay, so we'll stop here for today. You mark your attendance and then you can leave the meeting. Is that okay, everyone? Just type okay in the chat box.